Welcome to the Chelsea Fans Channel. It's with great delight that I welcome Mr. Rob Beasley into the studio. Rob has been a Chelsea fan since 1967.
I know I don't look old enough.
Cockney Cup final was your initiation,
and we lost.
Was it? We lost to Tottenham. No good, was it?
Well, it was the day that started a dream, really, because from then on it was Chelsea all the way. I was Chelsea mental all my life, and back in those days you didn't think we were going to have the success, anywhere near the success we've had since. But I stuck in there, and oh my word,
it's been good, isn't it? What a ride!
It was well worth the wait.
True. Rob has kindly come in to have a chat with us about a book that he's just written regarding Jose Mourinho. You've been a great friend of like CFC UK. People know you around Chelsea, so it really is an honour to have you in. I think the obvious thing that I have to ask you is, why have you written this book? This book sort of chronicles, it's an odyssey, isn't it? From, like, you were at the press conference, you were actually at the Special One press conference, weren't you?
Yeah.
And it chronicles from that moment right the way through until the day that you signed for Manchester United.
Well, I was a chief sports correspondent on two of the biggest tabloids in the country, and it was my job to obviously get up close and personal with all managers. But because I was a Chelsea fan, and because Chelsea had started doing particularly well around that era, I started to get the responsibility for Chelsea. So I was there that day. The Special One made his special announcement, and I just thought, this guy is amazing. The press conference was incredible. The reaction to it was, oh, wow, who is this guy? He's called himself a Special One, and he's really nailed it down. And he talked big, and he talked ambition, and it just shone through. So it was really exciting as a journalist, but even more exciting as a Chelsea fan. So I thought, I've got to try and milk this as best I can, get close to this guy as fast as I can. So I had a bit of a row with somebody after the press conference about what shambles the press conference was, because it was a shambles in the organisation, and it was within earshot of Mourinho. So I knew I'd made a mark on his psyche right from day one. Who's this mouthy git? Who's this sort of thing? And it worked. And from then on, he got to know me. He got to know that I was Chelsea. He saw some big stories in the paper, so he could see the profile I'd got and the power that the paper had got to get stories out there, good or bad. And I think he probably decided, well, that's a great outlet for me when I want to get some good positive stuff out.
Yeah.
So he started to get closer and closer and became friends, and many scoops along the way thanks to Jose.
It's incredible, because obviously Jose Mourinho is probably one of the one man that has provided me with more moments of happiness than any other. You know, like, there was a moment when I never thought I'd see my team win the league.
Correct.
To then do it with record points and record goals and record amounts of clean sheets and all that.
274 days top of the table.
Yeah, all that, you know, it's just purely incredible. But for you to have managed to cultivate a friendship with a bloke, what a story.
Well, it starts off as like a working relationship, and then clearly there's some journalists who sit in the background and in a press conference and let somebody else ask all the questions, and there's some guys who ask what's the team news every week, and there's other guys who ask the searching, telling questions that demand an answer and demand a real response from the manager. And I tried to be one of the guys who asked the searching, demanding questions.
And how did he react to that? Was he quite open to those questions, or did he prefer people who towed the line?
He used to make a joke about it, saying, "Oh God, it's you again, it's you guys again." Because there was two or three of us who always gave him a hard time, because we were trying to get the most dramatic response from him, either make him laugh, make him angry, or get him opening up on something, because we wanted to get a reaction, we wanted to get a headline, we wanted to get a big story. So that was the theory behind it, and he loved the banter. He certainly loved the banter, and I think he respected the fact that you didn't shy away from the issues. You actually tried to put him on the spot and ask for an explanation.
That's brilliant. So the book's out on September the 29th. Can I ask you, without giving too much away, can you give us like one or two of the highlights in the book?
Well, the idea behind the book is just to chart those 12 years, working alongside him and sometimes closely with him. It's sort of things like that, what he did about it, what he felt when he met Al Pacino, but also a lot of football stuff.
Yeah.
About the dramas, the players he wanted to sign and the club didn't deliver.
Any examples? Anything stand out there?
Wayne Rooney spent a whole summer talking him, sweet talking him, trying to get him on board.
We would have won. It's the year that we didn't win the league.
Exactly.
Had we signed him, we would have won the league.
Exactly. And Jose desperately wanted him, and Chelsea tried to play poker with it, didn't make a bid, and I think the first bid was 20 million quid, which was clearly an insult, going to rub Man United up the wrong way. And then they wanted, the powers that be wanted Rooney to put a transfer request in, rather than slapping a big fee on the table and saying take it or leave it. And they tried to play clever with it, and
it's also fascinating.
It never materialised. So of course we did a lot of crazy business at the last minute. But as you say, I completely utterly agree with you, Rory. if we'd have had Rooney
That
and got him on
season,
board early doors for pre-season training, put the money down, said, there's the money, we want him, we've got him, we would have won the league that year.
Yeah, what a marker as well, signing like a player
Statement.
from Manchester United. Yeah, exactly.
And when was the last time Chelsea made a statement signing?
It's a very good question, Rob. Can somebody let me know in the comments below, please? Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Not for a while, that's for sure, sadly. Do you know what else, Rob? Like, obviously, Mourinho has been such a larger-than-life figure in my time, and despite kind of reading about him every day and watching interviews and countless things with him on YouTube and on all press outlets, I don't know him. I'd love to, but just interested, like on a first-hand account. Is he a nice bloke? What's it like on a sort of day-to-day level?
Well, he's definitely a Marmite character. It's funny because he is the greatest manager in Chelsea's history. He's won the league 3 times for us and in 5 full seasons, and there's nobody going to come close to what he achieved at Chelsea. But there's still Chelsea fans who don't like him, especially now he's gone and he's at Manchester United. There's a lot of Chelsea fans who go, oh, don't talk about Mourinho, he's a mank now, he's nothing to do with this club, and completely decry what he did and denigrate what he did and think he's all washed up and finished. Me, because I spent 12 years with him and never had an angry word with him in all of that time.
Despite
I saw
some
some
of
great
your,
stuff. Yeah, he never ever reacted to anything I wrote. Never rang me up, never sent me an email. We had a fantastic relationship. He was very, very kind to me, my family, my immediate family, and especially my 2 children. Absolutely incredibly generous. He does a lot that people don't know about, his charity work behind the scenes, and I know a lot of people do that, but there's so many different sides to Jose Mourinho, not just the guy you see in the press conference. If you remember, I think Jose admitted this once, he uses the pre-match press conference as a way to get into the minds of not just his own players, but use the press to get into the opposition's minds and the manager's mind and coaches. So that's not Jose real, that's Jose playing a role.
He's all out, for example, the specialist in failure. We then went on to beat him 6-0.
Exactly. And was that... it was a landmark game for Wenger as well.
Yeah,
it was a 1000th game, wasn't it?
Game, yeah. Yeah.
And there's a very interesting chapter about Arsene Wenger in there. It's called Beating Wenger. And I don't think he just means beating him at football.
Really?
I'll leave buy a book and find out.
I suppose the only other thing that I have to ask you, Rob, like knowing him as you do, this isn't necessarily the opinion that I have, but it's certainly a school of thought that is circling at the moment. Every person, in fact, has a line in the sand, don't they? Everybody has a shelf life in their particular profession, and they get to a stage where they are no longer relevant or no longer as good at the job as they once were. There is some suggesting that Mourinho has reached that point. You know, the man that I hold in such high regard is a figure that was formulated over a decade ago. Do you feel like we are at that point with Mourinho, or do you still feel like he has a lot to offer?
I think it's a very legitimate question. I think after last season with Chelsea, when Chelsea suddenly got into that downward spiral from day one, that first match, and the Eva Canero incident, and there was suddenly a spiral, and it became a quick downward spiral. He couldn't fight his way out of it. So then, of course, he gets the Manchester United job. Fantastic job. Go up there, I'm going to prove everybody wrong. So that would certainly be his mindset. And he wins the first 4 matches in a row, wins a trophy, first match, Leicester, Community Shield, wins the next 3 games. Oh, OK, Jose's back. Then a week, 3 games, 3 defeats, and you suddenly think, oh my word, he doesn't want to get in a downward spiral again. He needs...
Because that's not his thing, is it? Like, Mourinho's brilliance is to start strong, get a lead, and lead from the top. He's not necessarily as kind of... It's not his game to scrap out of a situation or whatever. I
think he wants to put out that positive vibe from day one, put down a marker and say, we are the team. And I think he probably thought he was getting there with United. The thing is, it's maybe a little bit unfair because he's United's 3rd manager in 4 years. And they've had 3 managers in 4 years for a reason.
Exactly.
It's not because they're great, it's because they're not in the Champions League and they've got a poor squad and they're crying out for somebody to come along and do what Fergie did, build a new squad. Well, it's a bit early. I know he's spent a lot of money on Pogba, brought other players in, but it's a bit early for Jose to sort of have his mark on it. But you're absolutely right. I think the whole football world's looking and thinking,
maybe it's over.
Is Jose Mourinho a busted flush? Especially when you see what Guardiola's doing at Man City. They've come in at the same time. Guardiola's started, and you look at some of Manchester City's football, and it's scary. They're so good, they're so quick, they're so organised. And you watch Manchester United, their match against Watford, and you're thinking, wow, the gulf is huge. Can he bridge the difference? Will he get time? If he was at Chelsea, he could be sacked again by Christmas.
Yeah, it could happen,
But I think at United he might have a bit more time.
Yeah. Rob, thank you so much for coming in. So the book is out on September the 29th. The link is in the description below, so you can get yours by clicking that link. And all I have to do now is thank Rob. Rob, thank you
Rory,
so much for coming
thanks for having me on. I appreciate
real
it.
pleasure. And guys, comment below. Let us know what you think of the points raised.
Come on the Chelsea.
Blues. Obviously, we need to talk about the context of the game. But I'd really like your opinions, and I'd like to steer this video towards Hull, if that's okay with you.
Sure.